How are you doing, class? Welcome to another math session with Mr. Whitford. I'm excited to continue to work on our unit 4 as we talk about geometric figures. In the last lesson, we started talking about angle measurements, calculating angle measurements. We talked about scale factors, scale ratios. We talked about identifying angles. We talked about naming angles, right? Today, I want to dive even further into classifying angles, not only as acute, obtuse, right, any of those. I want to let us be into construct the angles, labeling the angles, saying, okay, well, if I ask you to create an angle, can you create the angle with the given data that I'm asking you to create it with? Last lesson, I had you use the protractor to be able to properly calculate the degree measurement of an angle. And we're going to use that today too to be able to calculate the right angle. But I want to teach you how to do that today, and also show you how to make sure you name it correctly. So look at the worksheet with me. As usual, open up to lesson 4.8 in our packet. Okay, and as what we normally do, take a moment to pause the video if you need to and begin to work on the bell work. All right, now I'm going to dive in showing you how to do the bell work right now as well. I hope you had a chance to pause it, try it on your own. I would recommend everybody, if you're at home, to get a protractor, definitely. I know we have a full class set, but I can't let you take that home. It's not sure if you'll bring it back. But nonetheless, let's go through it. So what I want us to do is this. What is the measure of this angle? What is the measure of this angle? We need to use our protractor. As you can see, I have my protractor right here, right? And I'm going to use it to measure this angle. I believe I told you guys when you measure an angle, you want to put the center of the protractor at the vertex, at the turning point of the angle. Now, the only difference is with this one here, you got to know that I need to actually turn it. Now, why am I need to turn it? Because this angle is kind of upside down. Okay, since it's upside down, I need to make sure I move it around to have it where the center of my protractor is still there, and then also the base is on this line here. Okay. Now, what I'm also going to do is just to expand it. I want to be able to read it. I'm going to enlarge my protractor so we can all see it. And there's going to be a lot of times on our worksheets, as well as and when we have it in person, that you may need to show that this line extends. Okay. I'm just going to extend it a little bit like that, right, to show that that's there. Now, as usual, what we want to do is, I know right now it's upside down to you and me. The good news is when you have your paper in front of you, you can easily turn the paper to be able to see the angle, right? I mean, I could flip my screen upside down for you if I wanted to look at my laptop and say, oh, that's what it is. But instead, I'm not going to do that. I want to make sure I still read it correctly, though. When I go to read it, I want to make sure I read it from 0, right? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And I see it's in between 40 and 50. And it looks like it's exactly in between those two. So I can say that this angle here is 45 degrees. Okay, this angle here is 45 degrees. I'm going to put that little circle right there indicating degree marker. Now I want to talk about this. What kind of angle is it? Is it obtuse? Is it right? Is it acute? And we know that anything less than 90 has to be an acute angle. As I mentioned on the other worksheet, if you're within 5 degrees of this, that's okay. If you're anything greater than 5 degrees, then you might want to make sure you look at it again. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. So let's finish the second bell work problem, which once again, you need to use your protractor to calculate the exact angle and then classify it. If you want to classify it first, that's fine. I can tell you right now by looking at the classification, this looks like it's an obtuse angle. I'm going to write obtuse here. And then if it's not obtuse, we'll change it, but it does look like it's an obtuse angle. So let's put obtuse here, okay? Now, I'm going to grab my protractor. I'm going to put the center at 0. I'm going to keep it upside down because I do want to make sure I read it correctly. Okay, there's a couple different ways I can read this if I wanted to. I could have it like that. I could turn it to make it look something like this, right? Either one of these are fine because you're going to get the exact same angle. So for now, how about we have it sideways like this? The goal is still the same. center protractor at the vertex of the turning point of the angle, and then one of the lines of the angle should be going straight out along the side of the protractor, and you would start reading it at 0. So when I start reading at 0, I see, and I'm just going to make a marker here.
Can I have one?
Absolutely. Right? I just made a marker there just so you can see it, but I'm going to start reading from 0. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, right here, 100. And it's not quite at 110, but it's beyond 105. So 105, 107. So it looks about 107 degrees. So that is what I would put here. I'll put 107 degrees, which, as we all know, that is still an obtuse angle. Okay, so that's 107 degrees is what I'm going to write there. All right. Now, after you're done with the bell work, and don't get me wrong, this demands practice. Getting an actual protractor, practicing with it at home is key and fundamental. Hopefully we have enough time in the class to practice and really let you guys get good at using it. And I have enough time to walk around and help as many kids as possible. But do know that this is how we are to do it. This is how you are to look and study in order for you to get good at it. Now, let's keep going with the worksheet because this is not where we're talking about. This is only the bell work. What are you having us do today, Mr. Weber? We're going to use the protractor and we're going to do something called constructions. Now, a construction means building, it means creating, it means making something, right? As you can see in bell work A, I'm asking you to construct a copy of this angle here. And I want you to name that angle ABC. So what is that? What am I asking you? I'm not asking you to put A, B, C here and tell me that this is angle ABC. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to construct a copy. I want the exact same angle over here, okay? So that being the case, how do we do this? Mr. Rivers, how do I do this? Let me explain. First, let's take our protractor because we're gonna need it and let's bring it down. Let's bring it down here, okay? I'm gonna make it just a tad bit smaller so that way I could manipulate it the way I want to. And you should have your protractor too. Now, what I'm doing, I'm expecting you to also do on paper because this is the best way for you to learn is if I do, you do. If I do, you do. And then eventually it will be I do, I do, we do. And then eventually you do, I watch, right? There's a time for you to do it by yourself and I'll see what you're doing. But it's good for you to copy as I do this. Now, the first thing we need to do is this. We need to find out what kind of degree angle measurement we're trying to make. What kind of angle are we making? So we're going to take our protractor, and the first thing we're going to do is really find out, well, what degree measurement is this angle? Because that's what I want. When you make a copy of an angle, you want to make the exact copy. You want to make it exactly as it is. Now, if you want, ladies and gentlemen, you could extend this line to make sure it goes out a little bit more so you can see exactly what angle it is. And if I were to quickly look at it, I can see that this is going from 0 all the way up. It's between 70 and 60. Looks like it's 1 degree more than 65. So let's say that's 66 degrees, right? And I'm just going to write this on the side here. I'm going to write this on the side and just make sure I make a note saying that this is 66 degrees. Okay. Okay. And I'll even make this a little bit small so it's not too big. Okay. So I know I have a 66 degree measurement. That's what that is. I need to make an angle that's also 66 degrees. Now, how do I do that? The first thing I would recognize you guys would like you to do is I would like you to make a straight line. Let's start off with a straight line. So I'm going to move my protractor out the way and I'm going to draw a straight line. Now, for some of you guys, you might want to use the bottom of the protractor to make your straight line. So how about I do that as well? So I can really show you. I'm going to use the bottom of my protractor to draw a straight line. Now I also have these tools here. So me having tools here is kind of me cheating, but nonetheless, I can do it. Okay. So I made my straight line. Now, the next thing is this. I'm going to take the actual protractor and I'm going to put the actual start of my line at the center of the protractor. Okay. This is letting me know that that's like the turning point of my angle. Now what I want to do is I want to indicate, okay, I need to make an angle that is 66 degrees, right? That's what I wrote down. So I'm going to go over here and find 66 degrees. And it's about right here. That's where it is. Okay. You want to mark it over here. Indicate that that's where it is. After you mark it, now you have to turn your protractor and make another nice straight line so that way you could redraw it. So I'm going to just turn mine. And I'm going to use the bottom of the protractor. Keep in mind, I'm not using the center anymore. I'm using the bottom here because I want to make sure I draw a nice straight line going from here up there. And now that I have it, I'm going to grab this bottom, go straight up until I hit that dot. Bam. Okay. Now, technically what I just drew, it should be a 66-degree angle, right? It should be just like this one. Now, how do I figure out if it is indeed 66 degrees? I'm going to check it using my protractor. I'm going to check it using my protractor. I'm going to put the center of the protractor at the turning point. And I'm going to check to see if indeed it is. And if you see there, it is, right? It's exactly the way I wanted it to be. It is 66 degrees. And I can grab this one and move it right over to this one and double check to make sure they are exactly the same. And they are. Okay. This is how you're going to copy the angle. Now, we're not done only because after we copied it, they also want me to name it. They want me to name this angle. So I do want to put a name on here. I'm going to name it A at the top here. B has to be the actual turning point, right? That's not an option. I think I did something here. Let me B and then C. Okay. So that is how we make our angle. Now I actually may have took a picture of this this thing here because I don't know. I just have it in copy mode. Cool. All right, so that's how we copy it. Now, there's another part that's asking you to construct an angle. And now this one's a little bit different. And this is where I'm expecting you guys to take a second and think about what it's asking you, right? Copying angle is important, but I also want you to be able to think critically and think a little bit beyond just copying an angle as we just did. The skills is already complicated, but let's add a little bit more. I want you to construct an angle, create an angle whose measure is twice that of the angle above. Okay, so what they're asking us is to create a brand new angle, one that measures twice the angle above. Now, if you remember the word twice when we've gone over so far, you need to remember the word twice means 2 times. 2 times the angle above. We know the angle above is 66. So our question is, okay, what is 2 times 66? In this case, it's going to be 132. So we need to make an angle that's 132. Yes? I'm almost done with the modeling right now, which means I'm done. Okay, we need to make an angle that's 132. Now, that being the case, I want to first start off exactly the way I did above. I'm going to grab my protractor, bring it down here, right? Make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to draw a straight line. You can use the base of the protractor to help you draw that straight line. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a big straight line. I want to make sure that's clear. It doesn't have to be a big straight line that you're drawing. You're just drawing a straight line. Now I am going to drop my straight line just to make sure I have enough space to draw my actual 132 angle. Move this a little bit over this way. I'm going to grab my protractor once more, put the center of it at the center of the at the turning point of this angle. And I'm going to count from 0 all the way up to 132. Once again, I'm going to make a marker where 132 is. 130 is here. 32 is about right there. Now I'm going to turn my protractor one more time. Come on, I just need this tool out the way. Perfect. Turn the protractor. And I'm going to use the protractor like if it's a ruler, right? If you have an actual ruler and you want to use that, that is fine. I am going to use this as my ruler, okay? And I'm going to make another straight line straight from the base here all the way up to the mark I made. And as usual, I could always, once again, check it by grabbing the protractor, putting the center at the center, and seeing if indeed it is 132. And it looks like it's about 132. Excellent. Now we're almost done because the last thing they want us to do is make sure we name this angle. we need to name it. In this case, we're naming it B, A, C. Okay. Notice the middle letter is A in this case, not B. So I would name this BAC. Okay. You are going to take your time copying and also constructing angles. And it may say twice, it may say 3 times, it may say the sum of this one and this one. Pay attention to the words it's saying so you can create it exactly the way it's asking you to do so. If you have any questions, as usual, put them on the Google Classroom page or see me after school for extra help. I would love to help you. I know this concept is a little bit beyond what you may have done already, but I know that it is important and it could be fun if you get used to it and it can come easy to you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me with another math lesson with Mr. Whispered. Have a wonderful day. I will see you soon.